Hamad told you guys about the two models of GAT, and in one of the models he talked about the positional level. I'm going to talk to you about one of the main parts of the positional level, which is the syntactic formation. Let me ask you this. How does our brain think about the structure of what we are going to say before we actually say it? The insight to this is syntactic planning. Syntactic planning refers to the selection and assembling of the grammatical structure of what we are going to say. For example, उर्दू में जैसे एक सेंटेंस मैं आपको बताता हूँ. आपने देखा कि एक लोमड़ी छलांग मारता है, ठीक है? It's a simple sentence. I tell you to translate it in English, and I tell you to tell me that sentence in English. What will you say? You can say the jumps brown fox, the quick brown jumps fox. ऐसे कुछ बोल सकते हैं, but you don't say that. You always say the quick brown fox jumps. This is the syntactic formation. How do you plan this formation in your mind immediately and speak it like that? This is the process that Faizan talked about. We conceptualize what we're going to say, we formulate what we're going to say in our brains, and then we articulate it. This process takes seconds. How do we do this? How do we divide what words we are going to say? In the sentence, the quick brown fox jumps, we created a hierarchical structure. What is the hierarchical structure? The quick brown fox is a noun phrase. We separated the noun phrase and the verb phrase jumps. By ourselves, we created this hierarchical structure, and this allowed us to formulate the sentence. This process does not happen randomly. This happens incrementally. Incrementally का मतलब आपको बताया, step by step. Conceptualize किया, आपने उसको formulate किया और फिर उसको articulate किया. In our minds, मैं मार्क्स यूज करता हूँ. I know 2 or 3 words before whatever I am going to say. I know the word that I am going to use 2 or 3 words after what I am saying right now. This is the incremental process. Now, what evidence do we have that Garrett's model works? First, category-based errors. Let's try something. I have this. I want you all just look at this object and think about it. That's it. Now I want you to think about it now. If you thought about it, you could have said in one of the sentences, the first one, blue marker. You could have thought about the blue marker. In the second sentence, you could have thought about Farjad is writing with the marker. 2 separate sentences you articulated realized in your brain. This means we divided the sentences, both the concepts, into different clusters. Noun phrase, verb phrase. We divided it ourselves in our brain. This shows us that the syntactic frame allows us to sort the words into different categories. The second evidence presented was incremental planning, which is the eye test. In an experiment, scientists took 3 objects, a pen, a ball, and a book. They asked the person who was being experimented on to look at these objects. They said one sentence and they focused on his eyes. Where was he looking when the sentence was spoken? They said, catch the... His eyes immediately looked at the ball because his brain is used to thinking about this particular thing and associating it with catching. This shows us that he heard what was said, he channelized what was said and conceptualized it in his brain that whatever is being talked about is the ball, and his eyes immediately looked at that object. This shows you that our brain is already running and waiting for the specific noun to be spoken for us to look at it. Last, this process is flexible. This means we can describe different events with the same syntactic structures. If I am talking about a cat, simple example, and I'm focusing on the cat, I will say the cat was chased by the dog, which is a passive sentence. The first word I used was the cat. I could have changed this sentence. I could have said the dog was chasing the cat, but I did not. Why? Because I was focusing on the subject that I chose, which was the cat. This shows us that articulation is flexible. It is strategic and it is flexible. It is not automatic. Our brain actively chooses a sentence structure that fits our communication goals and the context. This choice is a fundamental part of the planning process. Now, I've told you about the syntactic structure. I will invite Neem to tell you about the lexicalization of the syntactic structure.